Hey y'all, and good morning. Welcome to another day. Yes, the TV is playing. What is watching Paw Patrol for just a second so that I can talk to y'all. But good morning. Like I said, good morning. We're getting our day started. It is a little bit before 8 o'clock right now, and Justin just left for work. Today I'm going to be focusing on my pumping / feeding routine. A couple of weeks ago, I shared a video where I was organizing my freezer stash, the breast milk that I have in my freezer. And I got a lot of questions on why do I have that much milk? How do I have that much milk? How do I store it? How do I use it? Do I exclusively pump? So I'm just going to answer all those questions throughout the day today, or at least all of them that I can think of and remember. And just kind of show you how I do things. Now, how I do things may not necessarily look like how you do things, and that's okay. That's one thing that I really want to stress is the amount of milk I have, the way I store it, the things that I use. My experience, my breastfeeding experience may not look the same as yours, and that's okay. Mine from child to child has not looked the same. So in case you're new, I am breastfeeding my fourth child. I have an 11-year-old, I have a 9-year-old, I have an almost 6-year-old, and then a newborn. He's 8 weeks old now. And with my first two, I barely had enough milk. I only breastfed them for about a month because I was struggling. With Huddy, I had just enough. And I would maybe have 7, 8, 10 bags in the freezer at a time. But I was able to breastfeed him really without many hiccups or troubles. With Wyatt, from the beginning, I've had a natural oversupply. I've not necessarily done anything to create an oversupply, and we'll talk more about that because it is supply and demand. And I've not really done anything to create an oversupply. That's just how it's been. And so I feed him, and here and there throughout the day pump the extra milk and save that. Let me just start with how we do nighttime because we just waking up. During the night, I usually just nurse him. If he goes a longer stretch and I feel extra full, I will use my Honka. Now, I usually, just in general, nurse him on one side, one feeding, the other side the next, the other side the next, the other side the next, that kind of thing. But if he goes a longer stretch during the night, let me show you what I use. If he goes a longer stretch during the night, I use this on the side that he's not nursing on. All you got to do is flip it back, and I recommend that every breastfeeding mama have one of these. They're really affordable, $12 to $15. And it's not a pump in the sense that it's got a continual suction or cycle or anything like that. But you do flip it back, and I need to redo my fingernails today. That's going to be happening. It's going to be happening today. You flip it back, you squeeze it in, and you stick it on, and then you flip it up and let the suction out, and it just stays there and catches any milk. So when you have a letdown, milk will start to come out, and it will get caught in this. Some people say they only get, half an ounce or so, which is still great. You can save that up. But a lot of people get more, like 2 to 4 ounces, and that's what I usually get when I use this. And so I just kind of keep this by my bed at night, and if I feel like I need to use it, I'll use it. Whenever he wakes up in the morning, kind of as his I'm going to stay awake for the day for a little while, waking up, I will feed him, and then in the mornings is usually when I have extra milk, when I feel like I have the most. So I'll go ahead and pump after I feed him, and I'll put that milk in the refrigerator. We'll talk about, okay, I usually go by the 4-4-4 rule. That's kind of what I was told a long time ago and what I go with. You can keep it at at room temperature for 4 hours, in the refrigerator for 4 days, in the freezer for 4 months, in a deep freezer for up to a year. So I usually try to go ahead and get it in the refrigerator as soon as I get done pumping it, unless I think I'm going to need to feed it to him for some reason. So I'm going to go ahead and pump and then put that milk in the refrigerator, and at the end of the day, we'll put whatever I have in the freezer. So let me go ahead and get my pump set up, get that taken care of so we can get our day going, because the big kids are already asking me about getting school started, so we got to get our day going. Do you need your diaper changed? Is it time for a diaper change? Okay, let's get that done before Mom. Yes, let's get that done first, okay? This is the pump that I am using right now and absolutely loving. It's the UNIMOM Opera. I cannot say enough good things about this pump right here. I'm going to sit down later today and show you all the features on it, because it has tons of great features. Maybe when Wyatt's taking his nap or after we get done with school or something, I'll sit down and kind of show it all to you and tell you about it, tell you why I like it so much. For now, I'm just going to go ahead and use it. Real quick, first I have to pick out another outfit for baby boy, because I didn't realize he had pooped out his diaper and it was on his clothes. So clean diaper, clean clothes. One thing that I get asked a lot is why do you want to have milk in the freezer? Why do you store that much? Well, I have it, so I might as well keep it. Let me just give you an example. And if you don't have the milk, it's okay. There's other ways you can feed baby. I could have given baby formula, but just an example. A couple of weeks ago, I was pretty sick. I had some issues with my teeth, with my mouth. I had to be on a couple of different antibiotics. I was having to take some pain medicine. All the things that I was taking were technically safe to breastfeed with, but I was seeing that they were upsetting his stomach and they were messing with his like demeanor and his sleep schedule and stuff like that. And so I had that milk in the freezer, so I was able to use the milk that I was pumping and put in baths and things for him. And I even have some in the freezer, labeled bath, that I can use later. And I was able to feed him the milk that I had in the freezer. And he wasn't having to drink the milk while I was taking medicine. He wasn't having to drink the milk that could have bits of the medicine in it. Does that make sense? So it was definitely a blessing to have it. Now, I did still have to pump every time he ate because, like I said, it's supply and demand. If you're not telling your body that you need the milk, then it will stop making it. The beauty in that is, though, if you have a low supply and you pump extra or you feed extra and you tell it, hey, we need more, it will also make more. So you have to be careful that you're not overdoing, because you don't want to create an oversupply that is so much that you have to be careful to avoid clogged ducts and mastitis and those kinds of things. But the beauty in supply and demand is you can adjust. Pump more, pump less, tell your body you need more, tell your body you need less, those kinds of things. I feed him and I pump mostly for relief. I don't try to just completely empty out, because I know that if I do, I'm telling my body, hey, I need more, I need more, I need more. You've got to be very careful. There's a fine line there that you kind of have to walk. But so far it's working out good for us. And I was so glad that I had that milk, because I was able to feed it to him and use the milk that I was pumping for other things. With that said, I did go through a couple of the bricks when I was making those bags in that last video. Let me cut a light on. I don't know that helped much, but when I was making, I was putting my individual bags of milk into a freezer bag. Each of those freezer bags people like to call bricks. I did use a couple of those while I was sick and taking that medicine. I still have probably close to 300 ounces of milk in the freezer. And since I've been off the medicine and we've gone back to our regular routine, I've been adding milk in again. But I did want to kind of point that out, that a couple of those that you saw me put in the freezer, they got used. Before we get started with school, I'm going to show you a couple of things that I eat, drink, those kinds of things that are supposed to help boost your milk supply. I mean, I'm not having an issue with my supply, so maybe they're working, and I'm going to show them to you. Somebody over there has already started on her schoolwork. She is always my one that's up and ready to get going. Here are some things that are said to help boost your milk supply. Like I said, I don't know. I use them, and I'm not having any issues, so I'm going to keep on using them. This is brewer's yeast and ground flaxseed. You can put these in smoothies and oatmeal. I put them in cookies. I actually have a video where we made some cookies. I will link that. This is body armor, and they say that it's the coconut water in here that helps so much. These taste good, so I drink a couple of these a day. And then oatmeal or granola, I'll put this in yogurt and stuff and eat it. So there's a few things that I don't know, might help out. We have finished school. Wyatt is napping, at least for the time being. He's got where he likes to power nap through the day, so we'll see how long it lasts. Maybe I can share about this pump with you. UNIMOM sent this to me to review and to share, but y'all, let me just tell you, you know I'm always going to be honest with you, and I only do reviews on things that are helpful and useful for me and helpful and useful for you. Things that I think that you might want to see or know about. And obviously the stage of life I'm in, this is very useful for me. And it is the best pump that I have ever used. And I mean that when I say it. What I love about it is, well, one, it is chargeable. So, and hey, I did my nails real quick. They're not perfect, but they're done. It is chargeable. So you can plug it in and charge it. And then you can take this with you. You can sit wherever. You don't have to be next to a plug. I love that. It's also hospital grade, so it has really strong suction. Let me go ahead and turn it on. It's quiet. So you can see right here, it's halfway charged right now, and I have been using it. It holds a charge really, really well. And it has a lot of different options and features on here. So let me kind of tell you about some of them. Well, first, it has a light. So that's useful and helpful. And you can change it between massage and expression. So this is going to be quick cycles to get a letdown, and then you can change it to expression, and that's just like the longer suction. It has incredible vacuum power. So right now I have it just on single right, but you can change it to, let's get back to the beginning. You can change it to single left and just pump from the left side, and even with both plugged in. You don't have to have a little thing that you push in and close it like you do on a lot of pumps. Single right, synchronize where they pump at the same time, or alternate where one pumps then the other, and then one and then the other. You can also adjust the vacuum level. This is where I usually keep it. It does save your settings, but y'all, it is powerful. I need a strong suction, and like I said, I'm way down here. You can also change your cycles. Another thing that I like is, so say you've got it on single left, and maybe you need more suction on the left side. than you do on the right side. You can adjust it, and then once you go back to synchronized or alternating, it saves those settings. So it's pumping harder or with more vacuum on the left side. And if you adjust the vacuum, it maintains that difference. It also keeps the time. And this is your cycle settings. And then right here is your power button. I have been so incredibly happy with this pump. I get more output in a shorter amount of time than any pump I've ever used. I am so very happy to have this right here. It is several hours later now. I have just been nursing Wyatt throughout the day. I am going to go ahead and give him a bottle. I usually give him 1 bottle a day. Most of the time I do it in the afternoon. That way Justin can give it to him and have a chance to feed him. But I'm going to go ahead and give it to him. I do 1 bottle for a couple of reasons. Or at least 1 bottle a day for a couple of reasons. And that's because I want him to be able to take a bottle if I'm ever, not around and Justin needs to feed him. Or maybe my mom's keeping him and she needs to feed him a bottle. I want him to be able to take the bottle and not just completely refuse it. And then also it's an easy way for me to go ahead and give him his vitamin D drops. And these are the ones we use. It's suggested that breastfed babies get a vitamin D supplement every day. And so this is what we use. And I just put it in the 1 bottle that we give him. I've just got out that milk that I pumped this morning. I'm going to pour the amount that he usually drinks in the bottle. I'm going to go ahead and warm it up. And this is the bottle warmer that we use when I'm warming milk from the refrigerator. We use this bottle warmer. It'll be linked in my Amazon storefront. It has worked fantastic for us. But that's how I heat milk from the refrigerator. So I want to warm this bottle up, put that vitamin D in it. Let me go ahead and tell you how I warm up milk from the freezer too. This is just a bag of frozen milk that I've pulled out of the freezer to show you. And that's his bathtub and some dirty dishes that need to be washed. But anyway, what I do is if I'm pulling milk from the freezer, I need to quick thaw it. And so I'll just turn hot water on in the sink and hold this bag under it. And it will thaw and warm very quickly. If, say, you're an exclusively pumping mama and you know that you're going to have to thaw a good bit of milk for use the next day, you can pull it out of the freezer and put it in the refrigerator the night before, and the next day it'll be thawed out and ready for you to warm, say, in a bottle warmer like I'm doing, or holding it under a little bit of warm water. Also, if you're not in a big hurry, you can put some warm water in a bowl and sit this in it, and it will thaw. I'm usually just quick thawing if I've got to pull something out of the freezer, so I use the running hot water, and it literally just takes 2 minutes for this to thaw and warm up, if even that. I don't even think it takes that long. Alden's over here holding the baby and he is getting hungry. But I wanted to mention too, whenever I feed him a bottle, whenever it is, I always pump as well so that I'm not missing a feeding. And that milk will just go in the refrigerator. What I didn't pour out of that bottle, what I didn't need from what I pumped this morning, went back in the refrigerator. And at the end of the day, it'll all go in the freezer. But I did want to mention that when I give him a bottle, I pump as well so that I'm not skipping a feed. It's later in the afternoon now, and it's time for me to go ahead and get my milk that I have from the day in the freezer. I actually have a little bit less today than I normally do. I usually have enough to put 2 bags of milk in the freezer every day. Today, I will just be putting 1 in, and then whatever extra milk I have will go back in the refrigerator. And tomorrow, I'll either use it or I will freeze it then when I have enough. You can mix milk from different pumping sessions, even from different days, as long as when you are mixing it, it's the same temperature. So all of this has been in the refrigerator. It's all cold, so I can mix it together. And if you're mixing from different days, just make sure it's not in the refrigerator for more than 4 days from that oldest milk that you have that you're mixing. Maybe that makes a little bit of sense. So I'm going to go ahead. I've been freezing this in 5-ounce portions. I started out freezing 4 ounces, and then I started doing 5 so I could use a little bit fewer bags. I usually don't ever do more than 5 because breastfed babies, even like at a year old, usually don't take more than 4 or 5 ounces at a time. Once they kind of hit 4 or 5 ounces, that's just where they stay. They'll eat a lesser amount more often, where a formula fed baby might eat 7, 8, even 9 ounces at a time when they're closer to a year old. Once a breastfed baby hits about 4 to 5 ounces, that's usually just where they stay. So that's what I freeze in, 4 or 5 ounce portions, and I've been doing 5 ounces to save on bags. I'm going to go ahead and measure this all out. There's actually 5 ounces in this that I pumped last. This is from this morning, so I'm going to go ahead and use this and make sure this gets in the freezer, and then I will just pour some of this over in here until I get to 5 ounces. Whatever's left in here will go back in the refrigerator until tomorrow. I'm not going to show how I put the milk in the freezer, how I store the milk in the freezer, any of those kinds of things, because I did show all of that in that freezer organization video, and it will be linked for you to watch down in the description box. So I know I've already mentioned that video a few times today, but it does have more information in it just about how I keep it in the freezer, how I store it in the freezer, those kinds of things. So make sure you check that out if you haven't already. I think I'm going to go ahead and end this video here. If you have any other questions, feel free to leave me a comment, send me a message over on Instagram, and it doesn't have to be about breastfeeding or pumping. Just if you need somebody to talk to, I'm here to listen. I'm here to give you what bit of helpful information I might have and just be a listening ear if that's what you need. I love you guys. I appreciate you. If you're not already subscribed, we would love to have you as part of the family. We do all kinds of lifestyle and mom and family kind of content here. So if that's something you're interested in, please subscribe and stick around. We'd love to have you. We'll see you in the next one. Bye, y'all.